Australians who fought in Vietnam is the song I Was Only 19. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Hung Tran singing I Was Only 19, written by John Schumann. Thank you.
Show water before we left. And towns will line the footpaths as we march down to the quay. This clipping from the paper shows us young and strong and clean. There's me in my slouch hat with my hair so long and green. God help me. I was only 19. From hometown, riding Chinooks to the dust and we died. I've been in and out of choppers now for months. But we made our tents a home, VB and pines up on the locker at an Asian orange sunset through the scrub. And can you tell me, doctor, why I still can't get to sleep? At night times, just a jungle dog and a barking M16. And what's this rush that comes and goes? Can you tell me what it means? God help me. I was only 19. A full-game operation where each step could mean your last one on two legs. It was a war within yourself, but you wouldn't let your mates down till they had you dusted off. So you closed your eyes and thought about something else. Then somewhere we are contact, and the bloke behind me swore. We would be there for hours, then I got almighty wrong. Frankie, keep the mighty day that mankind keep the moon. God help me. He was going home in June. I can still see Frankie drinking tiffinies in the Grand Hotel on a 36-hour regularly in town. And I can still hear Frankie lying screaming in the jungle till the morphine can and kill the blood around. And the ends and the legends didn't mention the modern blood and tears. And the stories that my father told me never seemed quite real. I caused some business in my back that I didn't even feel. God help me. I was only 19.
raindrops on leaves, the tears of a mother over her child, the tears of faithful wife as her husband returned from war. Now let us feel those raindrops on leaves through the song by composer Phần. Thank you.
Love
I Still Call Australia Home was written in 1980 by Peter Allen. The song captures the deep longing of Australian expatriates for their homeland. Over the years, this song has become almost a second national anthem for this country. But it also invites us to reflect what is home. Home is where we find shelter, love, peace and happiness. And truly, Australia is a home for all of us. Thank you very much. That was terrific. Thank you. I'd now like to invite retired Major Walton Robinson, OAM, onto the stage, please.
It's a hard gig, mate.
No worries, Bob. If you could get to the stand, sorry.
Thank you very much, Mark. Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be very hard, you know. Everyone's had lunch, probably wants a bit of a sleep, so I'll be reasonably quick. But really, Mr. Andy Nguyen, President of the Rangers Association, Lance McDermott, President of Dandenong, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, friends and veterans, Australian veterans and Vietnam veterans. Thank you very, very much this afternoon for inviting me and Kim and the rest of our big contingent from Sydney, from Cabramatta. They're all here somewhere or other. We've come down to support this function, this very, very important function this afternoon. Today, though, just being serious for a moment, we gather in solemn reflection and shared remembrance as we mark the end of the 50 years of the end of the Vietnam War and the resettlement of Vietnamese here in Australia. That conflict forever shaped the lives of many people and millions, and it left a mark in the world history. For many in the Vietnamese community, this anniversary brings great hardship, memories of sacrifice and resilience. Families were divided, were uprooted, and journeys of new beginnings began, often to distant lands like Australia. We honour those who lost their lives, those who fought bravely, and those who made the courageous journeys in those horrible rickety boats out there in the ocean. How they ever survived, I don't know. Mark made a remark before that everybody who made that journey, all the refugees have got a Hollywood movie, every single one of them. And I've heard hundreds, and I couldn't agree more. The remarkable peace, I beg your pardon, that you've brought to this country and continued on in this country is remarkable. Over these 5 decades, the Vietnamese communities in Australia have not only built, but they've thrived through hard work, strong family values, cultural life, and a deep commitment to education and business. And your success stands as a remarkable testament to resilience and determination. You've helped us. We've helped you, but you've helped us build a more stronger, vibrant and inclusive community for all of us. Let's remember and respect and reflect with compassion and continue building that future of understanding, unity and peace. Just before I finish off today, just from a personal observation, today I can't help standing up here without reflecting on one last message. And I want to leave one last message before I go. And that is, there is no winners in war. I'm a 30-year veteran. I've been to Vietnam and many other places, but there is no winners in war. And I think about those 512 young Australians, not much older than children going to high school these days, 18, 19 and 20. But I also think of the thousands of Vietnamese that lost their lives during that dreadful time. Let's hope and let's pray. Let's hope and let's pray there's never another war. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for the opportunity. Kim and I thank you very, very much again. Have a great commemoration service and enjoy the rest of the afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, have you ever been to Saigon? Saigon is beautiful. Saigon đẹp lắm. It's beautiful. It's not because of the tall buildings. It's beautiful because of its people. It's beautiful because the music, the city life, but that was back in 1975. Today we bring back the life of Saigon before 1975 with Clow, and also with beautiful girls come here dance for us, the old dance of the Vietnam back before 1975. And on stage here we have the young Green Eagle with young talents who play for us. Saigon is beautiful. Saigon đẹp lắm. Please put your hands together and give them a warm welcome.
son on his way to the battlefield with his life potion number 9. Young and full of energy, heading into the unknown. They carried this song with them. Please welcome Vincent and Louis. Thank
song was made long before I was born. It is an honor to get to sing that for everyone, so thank you.
Thank you very much. A very talented family, the Dinks. I'm sure they can dance as well as sing, and very good group of people there too. In 1972, during the fiery summer in Kontum, a brutal battle unfolded where the Army of the Republic of Vietnam displayed extraordinary courage. After a grueling 6-month campaign, they emerged victorious. To celebrate this triumph, the song "The Flag Flies Over the Loved Kontum" was written, symbolising the restoration of the yellow flag atop the ancient tower of Kontum. Please welcome the Freedom Day Club singers with this song. Thank you.
1, 2, 3.
Ôi xin lỗi đây mẹ
Ladies and gentlemen, in the program we have the Unchained Melody song, but the singer is not well today, so instead of the Unchained Melody, we have a special item, which is the fashion parade by the young, beautiful girls from Christ the King in Braybrook. And along with that is Saigon, beautiful again.
One, two, testing, 1, 2.
One more time, please. Put your hands together for Green Eagles and the young dancers during the fashion parade.
Testing, 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 testing. Yeah, yeah.
you, Annabelle. There's another story, untold story by Mr. Alan Small. Please welcome Mr. Alan Small, President of Outer Eastern Buronia of VVAA.
Thanks very much. Thanks, folks, for sticking with us, and it's raining, so you've got a wet appearance. Alan Small's my name. I volunteered for Vietnam back in about 1969. The Australian ADF at the time tried to teach us what it was all about in Vietnam. They had no idea. As we've already heard, one of the things they said, if they're wearing black, if the South Vietnamese, the Vietnamese are wearing black, they're the other side, okay? We soon learned different. Unloaded at Vung Tau out of the HMAS Melbourne, hit the beaches, and what do we find? Young ladies, very nice young ladies. They always welcome us along. Young lads with cans of Coke. Well, this is a pretty good war we're going to, we said, and we headed off up to Nui Dat. I need to say, in my memories of South Vietnam, was a people that were very resilient. All as they wanted to do down in the Vung Tau book tree promise was just get on with their life, live, able to maintain their families and be left alone. That wasn't happening for a while down there. But I found the people were always very friendly to us, general, and they were interested in what we were doing. And even the youngsters, and even today, I've got a lot of time for young children. The kids were just beautiful, they really were. And they unfortunately got involved in things that they were too young to be involved in. During my tour there, saw some good things, saw some bad things. However, had some good times. Number one was flying in helicopters. And when I come home a bit later, I went for a helicopter pilot's licence and almost got there, but a heart attack stopped me because you're not allowed to fly if you've got heart conditions because they think you're going to fall out of the sky. The other thing is, I can remember being tied to the bank of a river, me or something at some stage, and there were crocodiles nibbling in our feet. And the reason we were tied to the side of the river was in an ambush position, and if you weren't tied, you would slip down the bank into the river or into the water, and you can understand what would happen there. So those memories keep going on. I'm not going to keep you here any longer. How can I possibly keep up with the Green Eagles who are here and the lovely young ladies who were on before? Very good. However, I wish to say this, that whilst I was there, I had no concerns at all whatsoever from the people of South Vietnam. They just wanted to be left alone, do their own thing. And one of the greatest things that I think has happened since then, the war was lost unfortunately, given away by the politicians and the administration people in military affairs, etc. But it's the people, you folks, you South Vietnamese people, soldiers, veterans that come to Australia, and in particular you've made us a better place, in particular in Victoria. It's a much better place having you here now, and I wish we could get another, 100,000 people just like you to come here now and not divide us. Okay, we're all Australian, doesn't matter where we come from, we're all Australian. But to the people who are here today, veterans, Vietnamese people, your family, and also to the veterans' families, thanks very much. And to the people who put on today, Dat, wherever he is, the RSL people, it's been very good, so thank you. I'm not going to stay here and keep you any longer than necessary. You can have some entertainment. Thanks everybody, and thank you for having us along.
Thank you, Alan. Now we are back to the Green Eagles. Please welcome back on stage.
testing.
Yes.
Hãy subscribe cho kênh Ghiền Mì Gõ để không bỏ lỡ
Thank you, Green Eagles. What lifted a soldier's spirit was the memory of girl he had met. Beautiful, lively, innocent in a white ao dài, but today we have the blue ao dài. Today we bring that image to life through the song Image of the Girl Who Is Not Waiting. Look at these angels. They are so beautiful. Of course, all of us, after today seeing them, we will never forget them. Please put your hands together, give them a big applause for these angels from the Christ King from Brave Book.
Nào em thấy áo em màu trinh, áo xinh là xinh, áo em trong trời mưa.
Tâm rất là nhiều. Cô Tâm đã bỏ nhiều công sức để dạy cho các cháu múa nha.
Cảm ơn cha mẹ của các em nữa, bỏ rất nhiều công sức để chờ các em vui tới tập dượt. Thank you all the parents.
I'd like to thank my daughter Amy for organising the dance. The reason why we're here today is for my grandparents that in 1954 they left from the north of Vietnam to go to the south, to Saigon. I'd like to thank, in honour, my dad who's a lieutenant in the South Vietnamese Army. And this song is also for my mum, the courage to put me on a boat. So here we are today in this beautiful country of freedom to practice our faith. And this is the new generation of Australian-born Vietnamese heritage children. So we're here today to honour the fallen soldiers, the sacrifices that the Australian soldiers and their allies have done for us to be here today. And with me here today is also my daughter Hannah. Hannah in the crowd. She's Hannah. Come here. Yep. So our future here in Australia. I have been practicing as a dentist for 30 years. My daughter Hannah is also going to be a doctor next year from Monash University, and Amy hopes to be an orthodontist. Without the sacrifices of the soldiers, from both the South Vietnamese and the Australian and all the allies, and the welcoming and the Australia has given for us, we, the first generation and the second generation, are able to follow our dreams and practice our faith. So here we are. We are here for many reasons, and we're here to thank everyone. Thank Australia, thank the families of the soldiers who made sacrifices, and in this beautiful country on this beautiful Sunday, we all bless each one of us. So let's move forward and let us not forget our past, but we also look into the future. A future full of dreams, full of hope, and I wish you all a very happy evening, afternoon, wherever you are in the world. You always have to have hope and not forget the people who have sacrificed for you to have what you have today. So once again, thank you Australia, thank you its people, thank you all the soldiers, thank you to all our grandparents, parents, everyone who have made it possible for us to have a future today. Thank you.
Thank you, Tammy. And back to the Green Eagles.
Hello, testing. Alright, this next song, I wouldn't mind if you guys come up and dance or just dance in your chairs, but just let loose a little and let's all just have fun for the rest of the set list, alright guys? Let's go. Here we go. Walking down the street. We got the audience ready. There's always something
Testing it. After all that, I don't think I can keep up with any of these young people. And you can see they're going to be a very, very versatile band. They can play from rock to soft music. And now it's the young one who had the chance, and now it's our turn for the oldies. So we're going to sing the Karen Carpenter song, Yesterday Once More. When I was young, I listened to the radio, waiting for my favorite songs. When they play, I sing along. It made me smile. Those were such happy times. And not so long ago, how I wonder where they gone. But they're back again, just like a long lost friend. All the songs I love so well, every song, every rose you shine. Every shimmering line that they're starting to sing so fine. When they get to the part where he's breaking her heart, it can really make me cry, just like before. Yesterday once more.
we have seen young dancer. Now we have a next generation, the previous generation of those little dancers. Please welcome the dance group from Q with traditional song Family Thread the Needles.
Thôi để tôi ra coi.
Hey Jude, don't make it bad. Take a sad song and make it better. Remember to let her into your heart. Then you can start to make it better. Hey Jude, don't be afraid. And that is why.
Thank you, Twin Eagles. The next song is from Freedom Day Club again. This song is the declaration to protect our homeland Vietnam at all costs. It is in Vietnamese, so it may be hard for you to understand, but you can feel the determination, the oath that we will never betray our homeland. Please come to say Freedom Day Club.
Hãy subscribe cho kênh Ghiền Mì Gõ để không bỏ lỡ những video hấp dẫn. chứ không chưa quên. Hàng vạn gia quân bóng nổ đã chứng minh cho rất mạnh hào hùng quân dân. Thề sẽ đau đôi chân, cuối cùng với quân xâm lăng. Ta thề chết chứ không thể lui, quyết không hề phản bội quê hương. Ta thề chết chứ không thể lui, quyết không hề phản bội quê hương. Cánh tay đưa lên, hàng ngàn cánh tay đưa lên, hàng ngàn cánh tay đưa lên. Đứng đấu tranh cho một nền hòa bình công chính, chẳng có tan liêu tông. Đầu hàng những quân xâm lăng, hòa bình phải trong liên quan. Đền công là bao hương hùng anh, những đền bên nhau và cùng sát vai bên nhau. Thề nguyện với vòng tay ta, quyết đấu tranh với thế nào được thành mong ước. Phần nước trong tay ta, ta nguyện của quân dân ta. Tình đoàn về quê hương ta, chẳng tham mưu chỉ đang tranh dân ta. Quyết chiến, thề quyết chiến, quyết chiến, quyết phần hòa bình kẻ tôi. Sáng lên hiệp mỗi cùng một là nước không đầu. Quyết chiến, thề quyết chiến, quyết chiến, đánh sẽ không dù mình phải chết. Để hai ngày về sau chúng ta không còn. Chúng ta vươn lên, hàng ngàn chứ không chưa quên. Hàng ngàn gia quân bom nổ đã chứng minh cho sức mạnh hào hùng quân dân. Thề chắc đau đôi chân, cuối cùng với quân xâm lăng. Ta thề chết chứ không hề lui, chứ không hề phản bội quê hương. Ta thề chết chứ không hề lui, chứ không hề phản bội quê hương. Ta thề chết chứ không hề lui, chứ không hề phản bội quê hương.
Thank you, Freedom Day Club. Thank you, Green Eagles. Andy. Oh, yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, Vietnam veteran, now it's completed our program today. Thank you for coming with us. Thank you, all the Vietnam veterans, all people coming, and thank you, Green Eagle, all the singers, Dr. Hoàng Tran, Dr. Hilding, and many, many more. So I see you in the future if we have time together. And cảm ơn Hướng Dương, cảm ơn and Nguyễn coming to record all the things for today. Thank you. Bye bye.